This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell and Missy Kohler. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson. This segment of the news is brought to you by Silver State Health, bringing quality medical and psychiatric care to Pahrump. Call 775-505-1214 for an appointment.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Missy Kohler. Today is October 21st.
Well, Scott Lewis, Director of Emergency Management, reported to the Board of County Commissioners on Tuesday. Lewis reported an increase in COVID numbers since the last BOCC meeting.
Our COVID trajectory within Nye County since our last meeting has elevated slightly. We have additional cases that, of course, have occurred in Pahrump and also additional cases that have occurred in Tonopah. We have one that occurred in southern Nye County and was reported by a federal detention center. Our Pahrump cases have been a total of 546. Amargosa holds steady at 17, Beatty at 13, Tonopah has risen to 26, and the remainder of the county remains stable. That averages 63 additional new cases since our last meeting. An average, that's 4.5 per day. Now, keep in mind that some of those are from a facility and not in the communities. So we're closely monitoring those and working with our state and federal partners. We have 12 antibody tests and 10 transferred to Clark County for a total of 586 for the county, including the 16 deaths. And recover is approximately 470. We do have additional citizens that remain in hospitals, both in Pahrump and in Las Vegas. We do have several new cases had underlying medical conditions, including diabetes, cardiac, and respiratory histories. And most new cases were transmitted within the family, with the exception of a facility that I mentioned earlier. Testing continues, with the interest fluctuating depending on what the spikes are at the current time. We completed our vaccination training in both northern, central, and southern Nye County, and our response objectives remain valid and continue accordingly, which include managing all available funding to support the county's recovery process, ensure the continued collaboration between all county entities for safe operations, continued coordination and reporting of Nye County stats, the actions to promote and support our reopening plans, and the rapid response to COVID outbreaks within Nye County, working with our state and federal partners. Our PPE is holding steady. And as a side note for this week, we are going to have a significant weather change at the end of this week. So we should be dropping 20 to 30 degrees with high winds. That is a welcome relief in many ways, as we've had a very hot season for fires. And also, with that in mind, this is also Fire Prevention Month. And we've had to change, due to COVID, our processes in going to some of the schools and distributing materials there instead.
And today we learned that someone from Pahrump Valley High School has tested positive for COVID-19. PVHS is following CDC guidelines in regards to who they notify. They are going above and beyond to be sure that everyone is safe. The district is working in collaboration with the Community Health Nurse's Office to perform the necessary contact tracing. A close contact is someone within 6 feet for a collective 15 minutes. If you have not been contacted, then you're not considered at risk. If you'd like more information about this, you can call Pahrump Valley High School at 775-727-7737.
And an off-road vehicle leads deputies on a chase through our town, and one man was arrested.
On August 28th at 10 p.m., Nye County Sheriff's officers attempted to conduct a traffic stop on an off-road dirt bike that was traveling southbound on Leslie from Basin in Pahrump. According to the declaration of arrest, the off-road vehicle had no taillight and was operating on the highway. Upon activating the emergency lights on the unmarked patrol car, the rider of the dirt bike turned back to the road and accelerated in an attempt to elude. The driver, later identified as Brett Georgian of Pahrump, used no signals. During the course of the pursuit, he rode through a front and backyard of two residents. One was occupied. He crossed the middle line of traffic lane and rode into oncoming traffic multiple times. The rates of speed during the pursuit allegedly varied and took place throughout residential neighborhoods and onto main roads. Georgian failed to yield and posted stop signs and intersections. He did not slow down or look for any right-of-way traffic. Georgian did finally bring the off-road vehicle to a stop, admitting that stopping was not voluntary. He stopped only because he was out of gas. Georgian had no proof of insurance, no registration, and no license. Georgian said he ran because he did not trust the cops and because he thought he could get away. Georgian was arrested for disobeying a peace officer, reckless driving, disregard for safety, driving without a license, failure to obey traffic control device, unlawful operation of an off-road vehicle on a roadway, no proof of insurance, failure to give appropriate signal when required, and failure to maintain lane in improper lane change.
More News 25 coming right up.
News 25, the most recognized and farthest reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on. This segment of the news is brought to you by P&P Property Management. Knowledge, experience, communication, and trust. Call Cynthia at 775-727-4444. This segment of the news is brought to you by Southwest Medical, part of Optum Care, now offering same-day adult health care appointments. Call 775-727-6400 today.
Welcome back. The Trump administration is going after Google. Housing construction has risen. Procter & Gamble has posted robust earnings, and so has Albertsons.
Tapping our news, the Trump administration is going after Google. The Department of Justice is suing Google for creating what it calls a monopoly in the largest case ever against any tech company. The DOJ is not ruling out breaking up the company. Google calls that lawsuit deeply flawed and says people use Google because they choose to, not because they are forced to or because they can't find alternatives. Checking the economy, housing construction rose 1.9% in September. Building permits were up 5.2% as low mortgage rates continue to prop up the housing sector. Procter & Gamble posted a robust earnings beat. The maker of Tide, Charmin, and other household products is thriving during the pandemic. Revenue topped $19 billion. Albertsons, the huge grocery chain that owns Jewel Osco, also reporting strong demand. Revenue rose 11% to $15.7 billion. Albertsons just IPO'd in.
Thanks so much, Angela. Well, there's a new option for patients needing critical care transport. Optum Medicine is now serving the Pahrump Valley and all of Nye County. CEO Devin Esma says his company's service can be a viable alternative to medical flights.
We were started in 2017. A group of clinicians got together and started a new ambulance company. We wanted to do something different than what we had experienced before. I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse since 2006, worked for various emergency departments, ICUs, transport services, and have done anything from bedside up to regional leadership. And we wanted to be a little different than the companies that we had worked for. We specialize in critical care transport. We can handle anything from BLS, which is EMT level, ALS, which is paramedic level, and then critical care, which is either advanced paramedic or nurse level. That lets us utilize a mechanical ventilator for patients who can't breathe on their own, medication infusion pumps for people who need medicine continuously, and then also advanced monitoring that patients need during transport. We're stationed here in Pahrump. We have an ambulance that is in service in Las Vegas, and then trucks that are out here in Pahrump. So our response time to any of the facilities here in town is generally very quick. We specialize in interfacility transport service. That means that we take patients from one facility to another, and I want to be very clear, we are not a substitute for the 911 service. That's a different realm. And so patients would let their provider know if they need to be transported to another facility that they can go by us, and then Desert View, the other facilities here in town, all know how to contact us. We have dispatchers that are on 24/7, and we offer critical care 24/7, which is something that not everybody has. We can respond anywhere else in Nye County as well. Again, not a substitute for the 911 system, but if we can work with the 911 providers and be able to rendezvous with them, for example, in addition to that equipment that we mentioned, we have advanced airway capabilities. Essentially any of the equipment you'd find on a helicopter or an airplane for an ambulance, we have in our truck. We take all major insurances. We're in network with about 10 or 12, and then we're working with the Southern Nevada EMS Consortium, which is a Nevada nonprofit, and what that does is it allows us to not balance bill patients that utilize our service. So we bill their insurance, and then the nonprofit helps to cover any of the balance that they would be due, and so patients never get a bill. We started our company with Pahrump in mind, and we believe that this service is tremendous here, and we're excited to work with the current providers who are here, and we want to help to make the system better, not do things to make the system worse. And so that's our ultimate goal.
Nye Communities Coalition is offering a mental health first aid class. This class offers great information for anyone that works with the general public. Leanne Luna of NCC stopped by to tell us more about these free classes.
We're doing an adult mental health first aid class on October 24th, Saturday, and it is from 8 to 5 at the NICC NAC Center. It teaches you how to approach people who might be in crisis with depression, anxiety, psychosis, or substance abuse, and it gives you an approach to use in order to get them to help.
Luna said there is a difference between the adult mental health first aid classes and the youth classes.
It focuses more on the disorder and what you might see within the behaviors of the disorder. So it's more in-depth psychology, where the youth is more telling us the difference between what might be regular behavior and what might be something that's in a crisis mode. On November 7th, we have a youth mental health first aid. It teaches you the differences between what regular behavior might be versus like developmental behaviors versus crisis behaviors.
Enrollment in these classes is free and easy.
Email me at Leanne, Leann, @nicc.org.
All the classes are at the Nye Communities Coalition located at 1020 East Wilson.
More News 25 is coming right up.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back. Well, obesity is a major health problem in the United States, affecting more than 40% of adults. It's also a major risk factor for heart disease, the leading cause of death in the country. Researchers at Cleveland Clinic are looking to see if weight loss surgery could reduce some of these health problems.
Bariatric surgery can lead to significant weight loss, and most patients can keep the weight off for a long period of time.
Dr. Ali Aminian and his team studied more than 7,000 patients with obesity and type 2 diabetes. One group underwent weight loss surgery and the other received usual care. They found the patients who underwent surgery were 40% less likely to suffer a major cardiovascular event like a heart attack or stroke. The study also found surgical patients only had to lose 10% of their weight to reduce their risk for major cardiovascular issues. In comparison, patients who received the usual care had to lose 20% of their weight to see the same results. Dr. Aminian says that study suggests there are benefits to weight loss surgery beyond losing weight.
These changes that can happen after these type of procedures, including change in the hormones, in the bile acids, in the microbiome. These may explain the improvement in metabolic profile of these patients after surgery that can exceed those expected from weight loss alone.
Based on this research, Cleveland Clinic's team developed a calculator to help patients decide if weight loss surgery is right for them. It looks at your individual risk factors and shows your risk of developing major heart complications over the next 10 years. You can find the full study in the October issue of Annals.
Darbie O'Donnell takes us down to Desert Haven Animal Society to introduce us to a cat named Philly.
Today's Save a Pet is proudly sponsored by Jason Ernest with Mountain West Lawyers. Call 775-727-9500.
Hi, I'm Darbie here at Desert Haven Animal Society, and today we are joined with Philly. Philly is gorgeous. She has the brightest, bluest eyes I've ever seen on a cat. They say that she's a domestic shorthair. We think that she might actually be some sort of Siamese mix because of her coloring and the colors of her eyes and how really small she is. She's super sweet. She's a 9-month-old. She's mainly white, but she has some very pretty gray, black, beige details on her face and down her back. But they say that she was really great with kids, other cats, and dogs. She just unfortunately couldn't move with them. So if you want to come and see Philly or any of her friends here at Desert Haven Animal Society, give them a call, 775-751-7020. You can look them up on their Facebook page at Desert Haven Animal Society. Come and meet this sweet little girl.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios, and I'm standing in front of a big old weather map. You know what this is? This is our current temperatures, kind of around the state, what we're looking at here currently. And this is coming up on Monday. Drops down to like 40s, 50s. It's going to get cold the next few days, and it's kind of quite suddenly. Just a little word to the wise. Also, a bunch of wind coming up. I will let you know about all that and all the weather conditions and everything you need to know when we return. Stick around.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios, and this is your weather report. Checking out the friendly temperatures at 76 degrees for a high today, 37 for a low tonight. Fallon, you got all the way up to 77. Good for you. 37 for a low. Carson City, 80 degrees for a high today, 35 for a low. Out in Tonopah, just 76 degrees, 38 degrees for a low tonight, and you're cutting yourself in half right there. Goldfield, 78 and 38 for your low tonight. Out in Beatty, we got all the way up to 86 degrees because you're trying hard. 48 for a low. Out in Amargosa, 90 degrees was your high today, 51 for a low. In Las Vegas, their winter chicken dinner at 91 degrees, and waking up with strangers in the morning at 60 degrees for your low. Death Valley only got to 98 degrees. Boy, it's cooling off a little bit out in Death Valley, not even 3 digits. 64 for a low tonight. Here locally, it's 86 degrees here in Pahrump, off the mark of 89 degrees for our high today. Winds out of the south-southwest to 7 miles per hour, carrying in just a little bit of smoke. What are you going to do? It's dry, 9% humidity. Sun rose this morning just before 7 o'clock at 6:57 a.m. It will set tonight at 5:59 p.m. We didn't even make it last all the way to 6. Oh, the agony. Lows tonight, 58 degrees, east-southeasterly winds to 7 miles per hour and 16% humidity. And this is what I want to show you next. This is our 7-day forecast. The big story, it's going to get colder here, significantly colder, like 20 degrees colder off the highs between Thursday and Tuesday. Monday, look at that. Monday, 57-degree high. Lows dipping down from the mid-50s where it's been fairly reliably all the way down into the mid-30s as we approach Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So a little bit cooler. Also, look at those winds kicking up just a little bit. And this doesn't really, it kind of belies the truth because I'm looking at a wind gust map, all right? Light blue, that's folks experiencing 0 to 20 mile an hour winds. And darker blue, that's kind of where we're at with Pahrump. It's 20 to 30 mile an hour winds, what they're telling us. Gusts. But there's going to be some big winds coming up. And then look at all that yellow. Man, yellow, yellow, yellow. Those yellow fellas, there's Lake Mead. There's a little bit farther up north. Sunday, if you look at this, Tonopah, Goldfield, you're going to be getting socked with it. A little bit, 30 mile an hour plus winds as we gust on through this weekend. So if you've got stuff in the yard that doesn't want to blow over, figure it out. There's something to do for you. All right, a little project for you as we send you on your way. That's the report. Back to the desk. It's John Kohler. Good night.
Thanks, dear.
I know you've been thinking about it. Who will I nominate for Project COVID-19? There must be a special lady in your life that you'd like to, lift her up a little, cheer her up because this pandemic is just riding everybody hard. Well, if you know a lady who could use some uplifting, simply nominate her for Project COVID-19. Simply Divine's going to redo her hair, give her a manicure and a pedicure, and make her feel extra special. Just send your nomination to Deanna via her email, deanna@kpvm25.tv. Be sure you have your nomination in by October 31st because we want to award one lucky lady with this great prize package.
Yeah, I love Simply Divine. Thanks so much for doing that. And speaking of October 31st, it is Halloween, and we are asking for people to participate in our Halloween event, which is going to be held on the Betty Loop. If you don't know what Betty Loop is, it's the road that is just north of Home Depot. It's kind of a vacant road where, it's just a big loop. And so what's great about that is that there's no through traffic. We can distance all the cars for trunk or treat, and you won't be crammed up in a parking lot, and we can make sure that we are COVID compliant. We are asking that if people would like to participate, that they bring a car, bring some candy. We're also asking for sponsors to help volunteer or to donate money for candy or to donate candy to that event. So if people don't have enough candy, we can definitely make sure that all the trick-or-treaters have that. And so KPVM-TV is joined with Quality Signs and Designs to bring that to you. And so for more information, you can email sales@qualitysignsnv.com, or you can give us a call here at KPVM-TV, 775-727-9400, and get involved in that trunk or treat.
Get involved. It's for the kids.
It's going to be so much fun. All right, well, that's going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Missy Kohler. Thanks for watching and have a great night.
See you tomorrow.